I'm gonna do this on Michaelis today. So essentially, like, I'm just sitting here thinking about like why I respect liberalism. Because, like, personally, I know I've had this conversation before, but I don't necessarily like to think of things in, like, the most destructive path. I don't like to think about the most destructive of options. I think that optics and, like, things of that nature are a good thing. I just don't believe in scorched earth. The reason I respect liberals is just because they carry themselves with at least some, like, level of resignation. Like, I think it's the bare minimum, but at least philosophically, how they carry themselves is, like, super important. Optics are super important. I've had this conversation before here, and I think that people, like, kind of didn't really get where I was coming from. But, like, I don't know. Just, we gotta, like, focus on, like, how to make things right. And making things right is all, like, doing right by the people who are in your immediate circle. Doing things right on a societal model. I don't know. I don't necessarily think of, like, how to operate as evilly as possible. I don't want to do, like, the evil thing. I don't like evil. I know that's, like, a controversial take nowadays, but, like, I don't know, being evil is bad. And, like, destruction for destruction's sake is bad. Yeah, you know? Sorry, I'm just, like, working on some stuff. What else? I'm just sitting here thinking about, like, what's good about liberalism. And, like, at least one philosophy I mostly reject, anarcho-communism and, like, council communism. You know, I know people, like, really subscribe to those beliefs, and I do believe that, like, mutual aid is a very important part of those movements. Mutual aid and, like, education and reading. But, like, they're so, like, absolute in their philosophy. You know, they don't like the suppression of freedom of speech, at least from who I knew. And that's just one of the things that, like, I can't compromise on. I can't compromise on, like, absolute destruction and dismantling of, like, freedom of speech. I think that's, like, super important. Shit. This does not look good at all. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, it's a weird one. I would make compromises within myself to see a world that's all, like, better, you know? I know that's, like, the one thing you can't really, say that, like, oh, you know, maybe compromise is a good thing. You know, you can't really uproot the societal model entirely. I think that it's, like, a really utopian idea that, like, we can destroy everything bad, like, immediately, like, by just destroying it all. Am I listening to... Okay, that was an ad. I'm like, why is Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You playing? That's not what I want to listen to right now. We're listening to Italo Disco. Anyway. Yeah, this is a rough one sometimes. Like, I really want to operate locally. But things that are happening right now in my life probably aren't setting me up to operate locally anytime soon. But I want to know how to get things started. Sometimes I want to do, like, a food drive, mutual aid, you know, kind of deal. Because that is important, right? Piss off all the local conservatives by doing mutual aid. That'd be fucking hilarious. But, like, at the same time, it's just, like, is it really about just, like, posturing the signal, the pissing off conservative signal? You know, we all hate pedophiles, so, like, you know what I mean? You're not doing much there. You know, I don't know. I'm tired of all the Epstein shit. I'm still tired of it. I think we're all tired of it. It's just all like, I don't know. People still believe in Israel, and they still believe in Trump, and I'll have conversations with these people, and they don't even know what the fuck Mossad is. It's just all like, you know, had this conversation with this guy locally, and I'm just all like, you know, I'd rather not be an Israeli asset or a mouthpiece of Mossad. He's all like, what's Mossad? Is that some kind of Muslim bullshit? And I'm just all like, okay, buddy. Okay. Also, that's a thing I wanted to talk about, actually. Why does everyone hate Muslims so much, and like Arabic people, and like, you know, just people from the Middle East? They think they're like disgusting or something. It's just all like, I know people who are like just saying that casually, like it's a cool thing, you know. Back in the day, you know, people could say like awful things. And nowadays they still say awful things, but it's all like, if it's a cool thing to say. They're like children. They want to like be validated through the hate they speak. It's just like when I was a kid, you know what I mean? I'd be like, oh my god, I hate this kind of person, because it's cool. If you have hate in your heart for somebody, then you're like valid, because you have to have hate in your heart for somebody. Like, I think that's like the point, but it's like so generalized. It's just all like, it makes you feel so much better to just like hate everybody. And then I had this one guy talking to me today, and he's all like, does it really make you feel good, buddy, to shame people? It's just all like, does that really make you feel good? That's why leftism is failing. I said, it's a really good thing to shame evil people and make them feel uncomfortable, right? It's just all like, again, if I said the things that I hate about, you know, people that deserve to be shamed, I think we could all agree on it. But like some of these people who just all like just play devil's advocate for attention. God damn, why am I getting so many ads? And I'm just getting the same song over and over again. I'm just trying to listen to my disco. But yeah, no, it's just all like, oh, you can't shame. These people don't act in good faith. People who just want to like critique and like play victim, they don't act in good faith. I think you guys all know this. It's just all like, I'm not here for your victimhood. I understand that like you feel so good about whatever. I think you belong in jail, but that's just me, I guess. I think we should be really more like hard on conservative-minded individuals, especially in like a contemporary era, because it's just all like they've spoken their alliances, their allegiances. Those things are bad things, and we have to work on like a better societal model that doesn't, you know, involve suffering, or like stuff like CSA, you know. If you know what I mean, because they're not going to stand for it. You know, they're not going to say anything now that like Trump's under the microscope. They're not going to say anything at all. You know, they'll just change their opinions around a little bit. Those things will be more normal, you know, to them and their crowd. It's just all like, it's crazy. It's like the cultist of like the Israeli assets. You know, I don't know. They ain't cool people. They ain't good people. I'm just sitting here complaining about evil people. God. I wish I could make like an actual channel with like actual information. I do think about it a lot. Do that. Because I make art and stuff. I wish I could like utilize art for my politics. But yeah, no, it's just all like What else is there really to say nowadays? It seems like everything's been said. All we can focus on is the objective. I don't want to have too many abstractions, flowing through. Doesn't really make sense. All we hold is abstractions. Everything has to be analyzed to the very end of everything. It's just all like, I want to be honest with people, and I want to operate with integrity and honesty. That maybe we're going about things the wrong way. Maybe we should focus on just objective truths, especially in the age of the internet. How we all exist and operate today. People are really critical on me for being so mild-mannered. It's just all fascism can't necessarily win the way things are just as they lie. Fascists are recorded. It's just all what are they gonna... If you see ICE agents in the street, you're not gonna be like, oh my god, this is so good. You can't be swayed. Nobody who has eyes and operates within a framework that's not a total cultist, it's just all those people will see the evils that are going on today. It's just all it's just not much to really think about, I don't know. I don't think I can get too complicated into this because it's just all things are how they are now, and you can't make bad things look good. There's not going to be a contemporary fascist movement that's aligned with, I'd say, the Nazis. It just makes no sense. People have eyes. People can watch these things. They can't just ignore somebody getting brutally raped and beaten on TV, every day. It's crazy, We got neo-Nazis in the streets just kind of operating how they feel, the one percenters, they got they got all they got now. They got all the resources they want, and we know they're Nazis. It's crazy. I don't know. That's why I kind of hold the philosophies I hold, because it's just all I focus on how to deconstruct this shit and how it aligns with more modern stuff going on. I think that there's no real way to abstract it. It's not a matter of abstraction anymore. It's a matter of objectivity, and a lot of people see things objectively. There are some people who do, they're agents of chaos, but you have to look at the rise of somebody like Nick Fuentes. At least I'd say how he carries himself is somewhat objective, but it's also pandering to this greater mythos, which is just all if he ever gets power, no one will like him, because it's just all what do fascists do after the lip service? They're just never consistent. They're not good people, and they just like to destroy. And they'll just say he's compromised by the time he gains power. He'll hold power for however long he has, because it's just it's a race to the bottom. You grab power as a conservative-minded individual or a fascist-minded individual, and it's a race to the bottom. You are essentially trying your best to throw everything away before people realize what you stand for, and that's the big problem with Trump. Simply truth. Kombucha. So good. But yeah, it's a race to the bottom. And that's a big problem with these kind of people who hold these very specific places of power, because it's just all these people aren't good people. You know what I mean? They are objectively smarter people, and the things they're going to do with power are not productive to the greater society. People will see that. I know people don't really have trust and faith in the older generations, but the older generations do hold quite a bit of weight in the political world. And they always have, and they hold more weight than some people that, focus so heavily on just all like complaining about everything. Oh my God, I made a video on that not too long ago, just about how like Twitter leftists are so annoying and like vapid, and all they know how to do is complain. Oh my God, this revolutionary activity isn't the kind that I want, or whatever, even if it's not like necessarily revolutionary activity. What you're looking at is people, bringing optics to a situation and making something more like clear. We're working on like the clarity of a situation. Me, myself, and I'm trying to work on becoming a more mild-mannered individual so I don't have to alienate the people who I care about. And I think that people like deserve much more like appreciation and love, and I don't want to be like the crazy person, I was like a big big worshiper of like the atheist movement back in the day. Like I really liked Amazing Atheist, and I really liked Dark Matter, and but we just have to look at where that takes you. It doesn't really take you in productive ways. You can't always be right about stuff. You can't I don't know. You can't frame stuff like that. It's just like, it's so stupid. Like, I'm so right and you're so wrong. It's just all like, what are you doing, buddy? Like, are you protesting? As soon as you get out on the streets, I want to hear what your opinion is. Because I think it's useful. I think No Kings is useful. I know everyone thinks it's like Fed compromised. Like, oh my God, they're protesting the way that the government wants them to. They're so compromised, It's just all like, all their data is going to get stolen. It's going to be sold to Palantir, and these are the first ones to go. It's just all like, guys, we don't need this much schizophrenia in like the entire situation. You know what I mean? We don't need to insert this much schizophrenia. I don't know. Everything, everywhere is put through the lens of schizophrenia. It's all like, how far can we take this? It's just like, I get it. The current societal model is one of deep corruption, and like everything, everywhere, always is, bad to do. But it's just all like, can you do something? Can you go out and write your essay? Go write a book or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's hear what your perspective is on the entire situation, and like, let's try to deconstruct that and see where we can go from there. Like, that's kind of my big thing. It's not necessarily like me saying like I know best, but it's just all like, I know absolutely nothing. Where are we going to go from there? It's just all like, are we going to do something, or are we going to do nothing? Are we just going to like humiliate and like judge? I'm going to be real with you guys too. When it comes to like judgment and passing forward judgment about a situation you have no skin in, like you have no actual like anything to do with, I think that just looks bad on your character. I think that if you have something to say about a situation and you don't do anything, like, I don't know, like, you have to at least, like, participate. Why don't you go participate in mutual aid? Mutual aid is very good, protest, very good. These things just, they have reason. They might not look the most aesthetically pleasing, but you exist within, like, the current time frame. That culture is, like, rancid, and, like, appealing to the wider societal, like the wider society that you exist within, is essentially just touching grass. I don't like comedy. I don't like humor. I think that like everything is so like brain dead, and it always has been though. You know what I mean? I can't just like sit here and just judge other people for that. Like, oh, things aren't to my liking. that's not my place to say, you know? Like, however I feel about certain stuff, it's just like, it's not my place. And I think a lot of people, you know, especially like leftist individuals, should just learn how to mind their own business and like just go do things on their own if they're so like critical or hypercritical on like the way things are being ran from the perspective you don't like. Like, did you organize a protest? Like, what's going on in your world? Why are you so busy? Like, now that you've said something, we can put the lens back on you. Why aren't you doing anything? And me personally, I just sit here and I say, like, wow, people are out there doing something. It's like a leftist. It's just all like, you can take any win that you can get and sit with that win. Continue moving forward with that win. Stop deconstructing wins for, like, cool points. You guys are all like teenagers, but you guys are all like in your early 20s. So like I get it. You know, we really just have to show the man by like doing whatever. But it's just all like, if you wouldn't post about doing it, you know, 99% of the time you probably shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just gonna sit here and Fed post, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna go to jail. So like, I get it. You know, violence is the only opportunity to truly make your voice heard. And you know, people of the past lived in the past. The past is an objectively different world than the present. Like, I hope you guys realize that part. That like, you also have like the military-industrial complex breathing down your neck. It's just like, do you really feel comfortable just like doing things that are like absolutely insane? Like, again, it's just all like, what, I don't know. It's a little weird to me to think that you would go up against the military-industrial complex and like the military and just like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, wasted energy. So other people can feel that crunch even more. Like, people aren't out here, like, throwing riots and shit. Because it's just, like, it's not productive. Imagine giving, you know, conservatives even more right. It's just all like, now that you've watched to this point, there are some things that I objectively agree with. I think that post-Trump, the U.S. should definitely hold Nuremberg trials where they people who are evil and people who funnel power. I think that the government should do that, though. I don't believe in vigilantism like that. Back in the day, I'll say I really like the RAF sector, or the RAF expansion of the SPK, the Socialist Patients Collective. But back in the day, it was different, you know? They didn't really have that sort of accountability. But I really wish that the government would have just stepped in and, like, killed Nazis. Like, we have the same problem today. But I don't think that we should go out and do crazy shit. I think the government should just step up and like serve the population. But you know, also the government does serve one God, and that is Israel. And it's just all like, I don't know. But I don't want to advocate on behalf of violence. I believe like I have a very schizo framework about all of this, and like I'm very like cautious about stuff because like conservatives are really weird nowadays and they're very like scorched earth, but like I also believe that can't stand, that can't win. I just wish that police would come out and just like throw these people up against the wall and stop serving capital, you know? It's just all like, I don't know. In a perfect world, the weight of the population, the weight of the justice and goodness shouldn't weigh on the population. There shouldn't be people who have to throw their lives away. We shouldn't have to have people like Luigi Mangione. You know, it's stupid. But, like, you create the conditions to have that in a society, then you're going to get it eventually. But, like, also, we have to consider that there's not going to be people like that to save us because we live in the contemporary era. We live now. You're watching this on a phone, you're watching this on a computer. We live in the now. We can't be doing this. Mutual aid is important. That's the revolution you guys should be paying attention to. It should be a revolution of goodness and not like stupid, evil garbage. Like, stop focusing on how evil you can be and, like, whatever, or how crazy you can be. And not even necessarily evil, but just, like, right now, is that really the look you want? Is that really, like, what you want to, like, forward? I don't see the productivity of that. Like, I've been told to just go read a book, myself, because, like, I'll be real, it's just all, like, I personally am not always the smartest person in the room, it's just all, like, sometimes I just have to accept that. But anyway, yeah, who knows, but I appreciate it.